You all guys already know why this session is very important for us and what is the relevance of the session. So before I start talking about what is this session about, we will talk about our dignitaries speakers. Our first speaker is Ajay Kumar Sinha. He is the member secretary and executive director at FLAIR. He is a social worker professional with more than 15 years of experience in the area of human rights, social and economic policy and development. He worked on program development and policy engagement at national level with international linkages through University of Oxford, Save the Child, UK's London office. He even has various publications on policy analysis, budget analysis, and understand the budgeting and planning systems and processes in India at the union and state level. His subject areas of expertise are child rights, childhood poverty, public finance, and governance. Our second speaker is Advocate Vikram Srivastav. He has 20 years of experience in human rights law and development at urban, rural, as well as scheduled area. He had even involved in various roles, including policy drafting, legal interventions, research, training, and advocacy campaigns, and list is endless. He is the founder of Independent Thought and co-head of the center. We are delighted to have both of you, sirs, with us. Before starting the session, I want to hand it over to the Avinash, sir, to start this training session.
Okay, thank you, Surbi. I won't take much time because I believe that when we have two expert speakers, then obviously we should speak less and listen them more carefully. So first of all, I would like to invite both speakers. Thank you very much for giving your time. Basically, what we are planning to do at our law school, that being a law school, obviously our first responsibility is to create employable graduates, like the students who can get a job in judiciary or in corporate, or even if they want to start their practice, they should be properly skilled. So that is the one objective of any law school. However, what I firmly believe that without having social responsibility or socially responsible graduates, the purpose of law school is not fully completed. Okay, so what I believe that in our country, we have a lot of opportunities, you can make your career, but at the same time, we have a lot of challenges also. Still in this country, we have so many poor people, underprivileged people, and even our society, our judicial system, and the entire political spectrum, the social life, economic life, facing so many challenges. So now what I believe that a law school student should learn his or her responsibility towards society. So with this approach, we have started this social project. And our aim is that first we will train our students in a very efficient manner. Then they will go and train other students. They will create awareness in society about POSCO and cyber law. And each student will take care of minimum 100 students. Okay, so this is how we are planning around. Like, we have got 134 students in our law school right now, and we are planning to have between 10,000 to 15,000 students awareness sensitization in next 15 to 20 days. So that is our objective, and this will not be the last or like the first and the last activity. This is our first activity, obviously, but then we will continue with such type of activities in future also. But I believe that every year our students should undertake such type of activities at least twice or thrice in a year. So that is our objective, and this will be a proper training. So my learned speakers, I would like to tell you that the objective of this session is to train our students so that they can go and train students in schools from 8th to 12th. Okay, so please keep your training with that objective, that we are training students so that they can go and train. Okay, so with that approach, I think I will stop here, and I wish you good luck, all the students. Please take the training sincerely. Ask questions if you have any question, and believe me, no question is stupid. All questions have equal value. And again, I say thanks to Vikramji and Ajayji that you have decided to come to this law school online and, training our students. But I can clearly say that in my knowledge, no law school in this country is doing such type of activity at mass level. And we will not stop only at the sensitization or training level. Our objective is that after this training, if any student in society, like these 10 or 15,000 students, if they face any problem regarding cyber law or POSCO, then they can contact our students. And we are working very closely with District Legal Service Authority, Mathura. Unfortunately, the Secretary Diksha, she could not come today because, she is having some personal work. So she's going her home basically, so she can't come. But we are working very, very closely with District Legal Service Authority, Mathura. So whenever we will receive any issue or any complaint or any case from any student, then my students, faculties and District Legal Service Authority will work together, and we will try our best to provide justice to that student or any child. So we have a full plan, a training, sensitization, and then legal aid service also. So with these objectives, I will hand over now this session to our learned speakers. And thank you again. And thank you, Surbhi, also, that, I think it's a big responsibility that you have taken, especially the program head of this social project. So again, I say thanks to you, and I say thanks to my all faculties who are working with us very hard and who are going to make this program, not only this training, but the entire social project and then later on legal aid services successfully. So thank you very much, and I wish you good luck. Hello.
Hello. Surbhi, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Vikram sir, now I will request you to
Please,
kindly
yeah. So
share some.
as Dr. Avinash shared, we have the privilege of having Ajay Kumar Sinha from FLAIR organization. And as I said earlier, he has been working extensively on the issues of cybercrime and the addictions related to internet. And they have deep research on that, and they have been conducting such training for various people. He had a very busy schedule. He has to catch a flight today, so I want to come in between you and him. The only thing I would like to share a minute is about the center which has been started in the law school of the GL University. This Children Law Research Center is an opportunity for everyone. And as we proceed, it's a 3 years initial program which we have designed. So as we proceed, I will request everyone among the law students to be aggressively part of the programs and also come up with new ideas how you all want to shape up your own careers and your own understanding on human rights law. So that we will discuss later on. So today it's purely on cyber law and POXO provisions related to cyber law. So I hand it over to Ajay. Thank you, Ajay.
Thank you, Vikramji. And thank you, Avinashji, and thank you, Surbhi, for inviting me to talk to the young students of Law College. And it's my privilege talking to the young budding lawyers of tomorrow. I believe these are students of which, sir? This is distributed among various years.
First year to third year.
Okay, great. So it's my privilege talking to youngsters because when we are talking about law related to cyber crime, then it's an evolving area of work. The IT Act is quite started in 2000. So it's already, India was one of the first countries in the world to have a law specific to information technology. But it is an evolving field with the advent of machine learning and artificial intelligence and augmented reality and virtual reality. So if you talk about all these things and its compatibility and whether it matches space with the technology, then definitely the law of the land, not just in India, but in any part of the world, it does not match. The technology grows at a much faster pace, and the law that governs the technology lags behind, and it will always lag behind until unless we encourage our young students, especially right from the first year, that they look into it and processes of improvement and changes and amendments in the law as we go along and the technology advances. When the two paces are not matched, then we will face difficulty. With this background, I would like to start my discussion of today. We all are aware about the information technology and cyberspace and cyber crime that happens in the cyber world, in the online space, and related to children and related to young people especially. There are a lot many things that which we all might have encountered directly or indirectly we might have seen. And as young students, all of you, when you get into practice, be in academia, as an academician, you start your career, or as a practitioner, you start your career in the courts, or if you start your career as advisor, consultant in corporate, you will definitely face these kind of issues because it will have an interface everywhere. It is going to have an interface everywhere, whether you enter into finance side of the law or crime side of the law or any type of law, you will face, because most of the world now is driven by technology, and it is driven by cyber technology. So today's session, as Vikramji has told me, is specifically on POCSO. So as you all know, POCSO is related to child sexual offenses, which are committed on children. So, but then it is when the sexual offenses are committed upon children, it is not in isolation. Everything that happens has a context and it has a perspective. It is not a standalone. It is not a standalone feature, or it is not a standalone phenomenon that happens. When the child is sexually abused or exploited, it is a result of lot many things. It may appear that it is happening on the face of it, it is a very simple phenomenon, but it happens because of lot many social, cultural, political, legal factors, and also what the technology does to it. So I'll start my discussion today with few basic understandings that you all must be having. That what are we dealing with? We are dealing with a technology that is all pervasive. It is there in all areas of our life. Like today when we are discussing, it is through technology that we are discussing. So it affects everything, whether we order food, whether we buy groceries, whether we do finance, whether we do college admissions or make fee payment, or whether we do school admissions, school classes. So everything has an interface with technology. And this technology over the years has changed. The second biggest understanding that we all must be having on this is the advent of the smartphone. Let us be very clear that earlier, just about 10 years back, about 12 to 13 years back, the device which used to click the photograph and make videos and record sound was a different device, and the device which connected to the internet and which transmitted those audiovisual images and videos was a different device. So one had to click photograph or make a video, record sound, and then bring it onto another device to transmit it. So this is the second main understanding that you all must be having, that it is now one and the same device. And speed is also very, very high. The smartphone can make a video, can click a photograph, and it also has internet inbuilt in it. And it is portable device, and it can also transmit. The third understanding is that it can simultaneously be transmitted and distributed to lot many places, lot many people, not just people whom we know, but to people whom we don't know. If we send it out to 100 people, they may send out to another 1,000 people, and within minutes it may reach millions and billions of people, which we call ki ye viral ho gaya, this has become viral, this has become viral. That is the geometric progression effect of any video or audio or image being distributed. This is the third understanding, is which I am trying to tell, is the social media. Whether it is Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and many other such media, which is called social media. Earlier, when one wanted to reach to many people, then it was the media. Earlier it was print media, then electronic media. So it was into somebody else's hands. It had to be distributed by a media company. Now we all are capable of distributing it ourselves. This is the third understanding that we all must have. The fourth understanding that you all must be having is called digital footprint. Once anything is on digital media in any form, then it is for infinite time. You cannot take it down. Theoretically, yes, it can be done. Practically, no. As I'll tell you the difference. Some of you might have come from a science and mathematics background. Some of you might have come from science and mathematics background. The concept of infinity in physics and mathematics is different. Infinity is also, meaning if we say infinity, then there is something which it can be achieved, but practically it cannot be achieved. Similarly, when we are saying digital footprint, theoretically it can be completely removed, but practically it cannot be completely removed. Once an image or an audio or a video is sent across or uploaded somewhere, then it is permanent. The law may, there are laws which says that the social media company has to pull it down. Especially if you talk in the next coming sessions when Vikramji would be discussing, or you all will be discussing it, when you all will be discussing the intermediary guidelines of the IT Act, which has just come into force about a month back, then you will get to know about these things. So the social media companies, there is an objection on some content that it has pornographic material, then it can be pulled down. But by the time it is pulled down from that side, it has spread to so many places at that it cannot exactly be detected where it has spread, who has downloaded it and kept it. So once that image has been downloaded and kept in any hard disk or hard drive, then that cannot be deleted. So practically it is, the digital footprint is permanent. So one has to be very, very careful about what one is dealing with. If there is an objectionable or pornographic material of a boy or a girl or a woman or a man, then practically it becomes impossible to delete it completely from the cyber space. This is the fourth understanding that you all must be having. The fifth understanding is that there are viruses, there are spywares, there are malwares, which can get into any, if you are not practicing, if one is not practicing cyber hygiene, meaning if you do not have antivirus, anti-malware protection in your device, or if your device is attacked, then your device, your gadget, your digital gadget is susceptible to hacking. Even if you have not uploaded that image or that video or audio or on any form of internet enabled service, be it email or social media, even if you have just clicked that or recorded it and kept on your device, it can be put on and spread across the digital devices through social media and various other formats. Even if you just have made the video and kept it on your device and you have not sent it to anybody, even then it is a dangerous proposition to have any such image or video or audio to be propagated and distributed across the world. We have dealt with many cases where people have said that it was just there on my device, it was there on my hard disk, I had not sent it out to anybody, but still it was there uploaded. Well, suppose there is a pen drive where you have kept an image which has an objectionable content, which has nudity, which has abuses. Okay, somebody's saying that I can share my screen. When I make the presentation, I'll share my screen. This is the beginning remarks. So let me, well, because when I share the screen, you all will be only watching the screen. So just listen to what I am saying in the beginning as introduction. This is very, very important. So somebody has something in the pen drive. And when that device was connected on the internet, the pen drive, he or she was using the pen drive. So even without his or her approval, that content on the pen drive can be taken from there. There are spywares, malwares, and different other viruses, different various forms, which we can discuss in another session when we get some time. How it is done, what is the technology that is available to the law enforcement and the judiciary right now, what is the level of understanding within the judiciary and the lawyers and the law enforcement agencies, whether they themselves understand the technology or not. So we work a lot on training the law enforcement agencies and the legal officers of various these agencies, so that they themselves are aware about what is there in the technology. Now, so with this understanding, let us start with what is there in the Act. What are the different acts that we have and what is there in the POCSO Act. At this point of time, if anybody has any question or anything on basic understanding, then please ask me. Then I'll go to the presentation and the theoretical part. If there is any if you have understood the basic introduction of what we are going to deal with. If
question.
Anybody has any question, please ask.
Yes, sir. Sir, जो आपने last में बताया example of pen drive. If we take example of my phone is logged. उसमें मेरे मटेरियल्स हैं, मतलब तो सर तो आपने बताया कि हैकिंग तो वायरस से भी वो अपलोड हो सकता है, तो सर इसके लिए कुछ प्रिकॉशंस नहीं हमारे लिए, मतलब हम ऐसा क्या करें कि ये चीज ना हो?
सबसे पहली बात है कि ऐसे जो ऑब्जेक्शनेबल कंटेंट हैं, जो पोर्नोग्राफिक कंटेंट है, न्यूडिटी है, वल्गैरिटी है, वैसा कुछ आपको अपने डिवाइस पे रखना ही नहीं. दैट इज द बेसिक साइबर हाइजीन, sanitation जिसको बोलते हैं, आपको रखना ही नहीं. You don't keep it. And if somebody suppose somebody is making it for educational purpose or entertainment purpose, somebody is into filmmaking, और उस फिल्म मेकिंग के काम में उस तरह का कोई भी कंटेंट है, न्यूडिटी है या एजुकेशनल पर्पस है या मेडिकल साइंस के लिए किसी तरीके का है, तो उन लोगों के पास दे हैव दैट प्रोटेक्शन. When they use this, then that device, when they are using these images, at that point of time, the device is never connected to the internet. उस वक्त वो इंटरनेट से कनेक्ट नहीं होता है। लेकिन आप अपने मोबाइल पे नहीं रख सकते हैं, क्योंकि मोबाइल एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम, एट ऑल पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इज ऑलवेज कनेक्टेड टू द इंटरनेट। अभी जो स्मार्टफोन है वो हर वक्त ही होता है इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड। तो आपको नहीं रखना चाहिए until unless you are into that field where you have to work on it. It is part of your work. It is part of your profession. As lawyers आपके पास ये चीजें आएंगी, आपको प्रूफ दिया जाएगा, लेकिन आपको ये खतरा हमेशा रहेगा कि अगर वो कंटेंट आपने उस डिवाइस पे रखा जो कि हर वक्त इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड होता है, तो आपके डिवाइस से भी निकल जाएगा और आप लायबल और पनिशेबल हो जाएंगे कि आपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया है। तो आपको खुद भी अपने आप को बचा के रखना होगा। व्हेन यू गेट इनटू प्रैक्टिस, आपको एज प्रूफ ये चीजें मिलती है। व्हेन यू गेट दीज थिंग्स एज प्रूफ, चाइल्ड सेक्सुअली अब्यूजिव मटेरियल CSAM जब मिलता है, तो आप वैसे डिवाइस पे रखेंगे उसको जो कि इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड नहीं है, नहीं तो आपके डिवाइस से और ज्यादा स्प्रेड हो जाएगा, तो आप पे ये आरोप लगेगा कि आपने डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर दिया है। मैंने बहुत सारे पुलिस ऑफिसर्स से ऐसा देखा है जो बोलते हैं कि अच्छा ऐसा हुआ आपके पास, मुझे व्हाट्सएप पे फॉरवर्ड कीजिए। इसके बाद वो फर्दर अपने किसी और कलीग को फॉरवर्ड कर देते हैं कि अरे ऐसा है देखना, इसको देखना, विच इज नॉट करेक्ट, क्योंकि वो बीच में इंटरसेप्ट होके और ज्यादा स्प्रेड हो सकता है। दे शुड बी अंडरस्टैंडिंग। आप समझ गए इस बात को कि क्या करना है आपको, क्योंकि आप अगर प्रैक्टिस में आएंगे तो आपको खुद भी अपने आप को बचा कर रखना है। Anybody else has any question? Basic, क्योंकि ये बहुत जरूरी है। This was a very good question. Otherwise, I'll get into the theory part. I'll share the screen.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
जी बोलिए।
Sir, I have one question.
Yeah, please.
Sir, in our mobile phones, there is a folder that is private safe. Once we have installed anything or we have any pornographic content or nudity in our mobile phones, then we have accessed those nudity or pornographic content to the private safe. Then how would the internet be able to access that content in our private safe? Because it is something which is under our privacy, and we kept that under the privacy so that nobody will be able to watch that. So how could that internet can access that from privacy?
See, that is only theoretically. वो आपको कैसे पता है कि वो प्राइवेट फोल्डर है? क्योंकि वो डिवाइस बोल रहा है ना, चाहे वो सैमसंग का हो, Xiaomi का हो, Vivo का हो, Oppo का हो, that particular company is telling you that this is a private folder. How are you very sure that that is a private folder and it cannot be accessed by anybody? Are you sure? You are not sure. Nobody is sure. Actually, it is a claim. Is it guaranteed by law? वो आपको गारंटी देता है क्या? जैसे सैमसंग का फोन है आपके पास और वो प्राइवेट फोल्डर है, कोई लीगल गारंटी है कि वो उस फोल्डर में रखा है तो आपके परमिशन या आपके अप्रूवल के बिना किसी भी तरह से किसी भी मैलवेयर से एक्सेस किसी और के द्वारा नहीं हो सकता है? डू यू हैव एनी लीगल गारंटी कि इसका लॉक एंड की है? नहीं है ना? है, आपने सारे उसके जो लीगल गारंटीज होते हैं जब आप एक डिवाइस खरीदते हो, वो होता है क्या? नहीं होता है। कितने लोगों ने कोई भी डिवाइस खरीदा है तो उसमें क्या क्या आपको लीगल गारंटी मिलता है आपने पढ़ा है? अच्छा, कितने लोग जब भी कोई ऐप डाउनलोड करते हैं, चाहे ग्रोफर्स का ऐप डाउनलोड करते होंगे या फ्लिपकार्ट का या अमेजोन का या कोई भी गेम का ऐप डाउनलोड करते हैं, तो उसके जो टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस कितने लोगों ने पढ़ा है? आपसे ऐसे टर्म्स एंड कंडीशंस पे क्लिक करवाता है कि आपके फोन को वो स्लीप करा सकता है, स्लीप में भी एक्सेस कर सकता है, आपके कॉन्टैक्ट के फोल्डर को देख सकता है, आपके सारे फोल्डर्स को एक्सेस कर सकता है, आपके माइक्रोफोन को एक्सेस कर सकता है, आपके कैमरा को एक्सेस कर सकता है, सारे परमिशंस लेता है वो। आप वो परमिशन देते हो। इवन जो बैंकिंग के भी जो आपने एप्लीकेशंस डाउनलोड किए हैं, एप्स, वो भी सारे परमिशंस मांगता है। जब आपने परमिशन खुद दे दिए हैं तब फिर कैसे बचा वो? उसमें ये एक्सेप्शन तो होता नहीं है कि आपके प्राइवेट फोल्डर को नहीं एक्सेस किया जाएगा, कहीं होता है? कभी आप ध्यान से देखिएगा, कोई भी ऐप आप डाउनलोड करके देखिए, उसमें आपसे क्या परमिशंस मांगते हैं? सारे परमिशंस मांगते हैं, और आपको वो देना होगा, नहीं तो वो आगे नहीं बढ़ेगा, वो इंस्टॉल ही नहीं होगा, वो फंक्शन नहीं करेगा। वो तो ये भी बोलता है आपके मैसेजेस को भी रीड कर सकते हैं, उसके बिना नहीं होगा। इवन पेटीएम भी बहुत सारे परमिशंस मांगता है, गूगल पे, फोन पे, सारे परमिशंस मांगता है। सो इट इज अ मिसनोमर एक्चुअली कि वो फोल्डर प्राइवेट होगा। और कोई बेसिक क्वेश्चन है? सो माय सिंपल एडवाइस वुड बी, व्हेन यू गेट इनटू लीगल प्रैक्टिस, जब आप लीगल प्रैक्टिस में जा रहे हैं, जब आप लॉ, तो अपने आप को बचाना आपका सबसे बड़ा धर्म है। तो इसलिए इस पे अगर आप और रिसर्च और लोगों से पूछना चाहते हैं, पूछ लीजिएगा, लेकिन अपनी सेफ्टी सबसे बड़ी है। आपको अगर एज ए प्रूफ आपके क्लाइंट के द्वारा वैसी चीजें मिलती हैं, तो आप अपने सेफ कस्टडी में रखिएगा। वैसे डिवाइस पे कभी भी मत रखिएगा जिससे इंटरनेट कनेक्टेड है। आवाज नहीं आ रही है। Let us get into there will be more time. You can talk to Vikram ji and me also later after the class. So I think आवाज नहीं आ रही है। I can't hear you. I think I can't hear you.
हमें अगर डॉक्यूमेंट्स वगैरह।
जी जी बोलिए।
हेलो सर।
बोलिए। हाँ बोलिए।
हेलो सर।
हाँ बोलिए।
सर अगर हम हमारे पर्सनल डॉक्यूमेंट्स को पेन ड्राइव में रखते हैं तो पेन ड्राइव से भी इस चीज का लीक होने का खतरा है। तो सर इस केस में तो हमारे पास कोई भी वो प्रोटेक्शन नहीं है, क्योंकि लीक होने का खतरा तो फोन में होता है जितना ही, उतना पेन ड्राइव में भी हो सकता है। क्योंकि हम अगर पेन ड्राइव को किसी डिवाइस में इंसर्ट करते हैं तो वहां से भी वो लीक हो सकती है।
मैं वही कह रहा हूं कि जहां पे ऑब्जेक्शनेबल या कॉन्फिडेंशियल कंटेंट है, जो कंटेंट ऑब्जेक्शनेबल है, जो आपका कॉन्फिडेंशियल है, उसको जब भी रखें तो उसको ऐसे डिवाइस पे रखें जिसको इंटरनेट से कनेक्ट नहीं करें, टू बी वेरी सेफ। अगर आपने सारे एंटीवायरस और एंटी मैलवेयर और एंटी स्पाईवेयर इंस्टॉल किया है किसी टेक्निकल एक्सपर्ट से, आपने अपने डिवाइस को रेगुलरली चेक करवाते हैं, तब आप यूज कर सकते हैं। अन्यथा द सेफेस्ट प्रैक्टिस इज कि आप जब वो कॉन्फिडेंशियल कंटेंट वाला जो पेन ड्राइव है उसको कभी भी इंटरनेट वाले डिवाइस में नहीं डालें। अगर आप अपने लैपटॉप या डेस्कटॉप पे उसको लगा रहे हैं, उस वक्त लगाएं जबकि वो लैपटॉप या डेस्कटॉप इंटरनेट से कनेक्टेड नहीं है। दिस इज द सेफेस्ट। सेकेंड इज कि आप किसी टेक्निकल एक्सपर्ट से रेगुलरली आप अपने डिवाइस को चेक करवाते हैं। तो जितनी भी बड़ी कंपनीज होती हैं लॉ की, तो उनका एक आईटी सेल होता है, वो सारे डिवाइसेस को सैनिटाइज करते हैं रेगुलरली, डेली सैनिटाइज करते हैं, विच इज कॉल्ड बेसिक साइबर सैनिटेशन। उसको सैनिटाइज किया जाता है कि आपका कहीं पर भी लीक ना हो। अगर आप वो नहीं प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं तो दूसरा सेफ है। जैसे पुराने जमाने में कोई भी फाइल रखी जाती थी लॉक एंड की में, जैसे लॉयर्स रखते थे, उसी तरह का प्रैक्टिस आपको करना है। सो लेट अस मूव फॉरवर्ड। दिस इज द बेसिक अंडरस्टैंडिंग। मैंने आपको बताया कि अगर आपके पास वो सैनिटेशन के सारे हैं, आपके पास एक आईटी डिवीजन है जो रेगुलरली आपके डिवाइसेस को चेक करता है, अपडेट करता है, तब आप सेफ हैं। अगर नहीं तो आप और मैं नहीं पता कर सकते कि हमारे डिवाइस में कौन सा मैलवेयर है। आप नहीं पता कर सकते। आपने कितना भी अच्छा एंटीवायरस किया है, अगर वो डेली रेगुलरली नहीं चेक होता है आपका डिवाइस और सैनिटाइज होता है, तो वो ससेप्टेबल है हैकिंग के लिए। आपको पता भी नहीं चलेगा वो चीजें हैक हुई होंगी आपसे। आपके पास कोई इंटीमेशन नहीं आएगा, आपके पास कोई कॉल नहीं आएगी, आपके पास कोई ईमेल नहीं आएगा, कोई थ्रेटनिंग कुछ भी नहीं आएगा कि आप मुझे ये दो, नहीं तो मैं आपका ये कर दूंगा। ये जो ईमेल्स आते हैं, ये इससे ईमेल्स नहीं आएंगे आपके पास, लेकिन वो आपके यहाँ से निकल चुका होगा, आपका यूज हो सकता है। Let us get into the second part of the discussion. इसमें जो आप, can you see my screen? Slide दिख रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. इसमें एक बात बहुत ध्यान रखने वाली है कि इंटरनेट का कोई सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन नहीं होता है, और ये इट इज नॉन प्रोप्राइटरी इन नेचर। एनीबडी कैन अपलोड एन वेबसाइट, तो वो रेगुलेशन नहीं है, जिसके कारण से इसका ग्रोथ बहुत ज्यादा है। इसके प्रॉस एंड कॉन्स, ये दिस इज बेसिक है। On the one hand, it allows innovation, quick adaptation, and organic growth, but on the other hand, it also allows unchecked growth of features and applications that are malicious and detrimental to upkeep of law, order, and general well-being. This is very important, especially for the lawyers. जब आप लॉ प्रैक्टिस करेंगे तो आपको ये बात ध्यान रखने की जरूरत है कि इंटरनेट सेंट्रली एडमिनिस्ट्रेटेड नहीं है, कोई ऐसा सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है। अलग सरकारों ने इसकी कोशिश की है, जैसे GDPR है या कोपा एक्ट है, ऐसे जो अमेरिका के एक्ट्स हैं। इंडिया में भी जो आपका पर्सनल डेटा प्रोटेक्शन बिल है अभी, या IT एक्ट है, उसके इंटरमीडिएट गाइडलाइंस हैं, पर वो सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन नहीं है कि उसको रोक सकता है। दीज आर ओनली गाइडलाइंस। अगर कुछ ऑफेंस हो गया तो वो पनिशेबल अंडर लॉ है, लेकिन ऐसा नहीं है कि उसको किसी भी तरह से रोक सकता हो। टेक्नोलॉजिकली उसको नहीं रोका जा सकता है। लीगली रोकना और टेक्नोलॉजिकली किसी भी चीज को रोक देना, दोनों में फर्क है। आई विल गिव यू अ मेटाफर एंड अ सिमिली। अगर जैसे आप सड़क पे गाड़ी चलाते हैं तो उसका एक मोटर व्हीकल एक्ट है, तो उसका एक सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन होता है जो ट्रांसपोर्ट डिपार्टमेंट होता है आपके स्टेट गवर्नमेंट का। तो अगर आपने किसी भी तरह से या किसी भी मोटर व्हीकल ओनर ने किसी भी लॉ को वो किया, तो इट इज नॉट जस्ट पनिशेबल, आपके गाड़ी को इंपाउंड किया जा सकता है, रोका जा सकता है। तो उसको उस तरीके की फैसिलिटी इंटरनेट में नहीं है। सो वी शुड अंडरस्टैंड कि वो नहीं है इसमें। इसलिए जब हम पॉक्सो की भी बात करेंगे तो बहुत ध्यान से करेंगे कि वो नहीं है। अगर हमने, जैसे आपने पुलिस को कंप्लेंट की कि फलाना इमेज या वीडियो इंस्टाग्राम पे है, तो उसको इंस्टाग्राम की जो कंपनी है विच इज ओन्ड बाय नाउ फेसबुक, आपको उनको लिखना पड़ेगा फेसबुक कैन टेक दैट एक्शन। द गवर्नमेंट डायरेक्टली कैन नॉट टेक दैट एक्शन। उनको कोऑर्डिनेट करना पड़ेगा उस प्राइवेट कंपनी से। अगर कोई और वेबसाइट है तो उसको ढूंढना पड़ेगा, उसके ओनरशिप को, उसके सर्वर को ढूंढना पड़ेगा, वहां कांटेक्ट करना पड़ेगा, वहां से वो डिलीट या उसको डाउन किया जा सकता है। सो दिस अंडरस्टैंडिंग वी ऑल शुड बी हैविंग। लीगल एंड पॉलिसी फ्रेमवर्क जो है इश्यूज को हैंडल करने के लिए, चाइल्ड ऑनलाइन प्रोटेक्शन के लिए, वो ये है। ये विक्रम जी आप लोगों को ये प्रेजेंटेशन बाद में कर दे देंगे। सो आई जस्ट, राइट्स ऑफ डिजिटल सिटीजन्स ये है। आई जस्ट स्किप इसको, जल्दी मैं कर देता हूँ। There is another presentation I'll show you. This is mainly with respect to CSAM, Child Sexual Abusive Material, जिसको हम लोग जनरल भाषा में चाइल्ड पोर्नोग्राफी बोलते हैं। इंटरनेशनल लीगल कमिटमेंट में ILO का कन्वेंशन नंबर 182 है, फिर ऑप्शनल प्रोटोकॉल टू द कन्वेंशन ऑन द राइट्स ऑफ द चाइल्ड है, फिर नेशनल सब्सटैंटिव लेजिस्लेशन में पीनल कोड एक्ट नंबर 45 ऑफ 1860 है आपका, प्रोटेक्ट, फिर पॉक्सो एक्ट है, एक्ट नंबर 32 ऑफ 2012 है, आईटी एक्ट है, एक्सट्रेडिशन एक्ट है, क्रिमिनल लॉ अमेंडमेंट एक्ट ऑफ 2018 है, फिर 1872 का एविडेंस एक्ट ऑफ इंडिया एप्लीकेबल होता है, फिर सीआरपीसी एप्लीकेबल होता है। चाइल्ड पोर्नोग्राफी जो है वो सेक्शन 13 के हिसाब से, जो पॉक्सो है उसके हिसाब से डिफाइन होता है। तो आज जो हम लोग we will be discussing mainly 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15 sections of the POCSO Act, right? How they are applicable. IT Act also defines virtual child pornography under section 67B of the Information Technology Act. So let us get into Can you all see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So today's session was basically mainly on POCSO Act. So POCSO Act जब child sexual offenses में जब online होता है, in that context when we are dealing with, so the applicable sections are section 11, 12, 13 and 13, 14 and 15, right? The section below addresses which issues: browsing, viewing, downloading child pornography. Child pornography is the general language that we use, but technically it is called CSAM, CSAM, child sexual abusive material, जो image भी हो सकता है, ऑडियो भी हो सकता है, वीडियो भी हो सकता है, एनिमेटेड वीडियो भी हो सकता है, एनिमेटेड फोटोग्राफ भी हो सकता है, दैट इज ऑल्सो कॉल्ड CSAM। कोई पेंटिंग भी हो सकता है, कोई ड्राइंग भी हो सकता है, अगर उसका ऑनलाइन वर्जन है, डिजिटल वर्जन है और डिजिटल ट्रांसमिशन है, देन these sections are enforced. Distributing, hosting a child pornographic video, showing a pornography video to child where the child, in that video or in that image there is no child, but it is being shown to a child, even then it is an offense, and these sections are enforced, they come into effect. So this much is clear to everybody कि ये कब enforce होगा. And this is very, very important. Earlier, when these materials were in hard copy or when they were in CD और उस टाइप में, तो उनका ट्रांसमिशन बहुत स्लो होता था और बहुत ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम नहीं होता था और उसको डिटेक्ट करके उनको डिमोलिश कर दिया जाता था. Now, because of digital footprint being almost permanent, practically being permanent, उसको डिटेक्ट करके डिलीट हर जगह से नहीं किया जा सकता है. Section 11, 5 and 6 of Protection of Children from Sexual Offences Act 2012 says, description है, whereas 11 is specifically about sexual harassment of a minor, sections 5 and 6 include elements of child pornography. These sections discuss the use or threat of use of child for pornography. When there is any threat to depict a child taking part in sexual act, a person can be charged under section 11(5), which states that, what does it state? It states threats to use in any form of media a real or fabricated depiction through electronic, film or digital or any other mode of any part of the body of the child, of the involvement of the child in a sexual act, If a child is groomed for pornographic purposes, the perpetrator can be charged under section 11(6), which provides that it is an offense to entices a child for pornographic purposes or gives gratification therefore. It is a cognizable and bailable offense. Section 12 prescribes punishment that defines the offense. Section 12 prescribes punishment for an offense under section 11 of POCSO Act for a term up to 3 years of imprisonment and fine. Section in the law क्या बोलता है? Sexual harassment is said to commit sexual harassment upon a child when such person with sexual intent utters any word or makes any sound or makes any gesture or exhibits any object or part of body with the intention that such word or sound shall be heard or such gesture or object or part of body shall be seen by the child, or makes a child exhibit his body or any part of his body so as it is seen by such person or any other person, or shows any object to a child in any form or media for pornographic purposes, or repeatedly or constantly follows or watches or contacts a child either directly or through electronic, digital or any other means. और ये पॉइंट नंबर 4 जरूरत समझने की जरूरत है कि अगर उसको की स्टॉकिंग हो रही है, साइबर स्टॉकिंग, अगर उसके फेसबुक को या उसके फेसबुक प्रोफाइल को या उसके किसी और भी तरह के प्रोफाइल को जब वो क्लास कर रहा है उसको फॉलो किया जाता है इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिजिटल मीन से, even then it is an offense and punishable by law. 5 says threatens to use in any form of media real or fabricated depiction through electronic, film or digital or any other mode of any part of the body of the child or the involvement of the child in a sexual act, or entices a child for pornographic purposes or gives gratification therefore. Ingredients of the law है threatens to use child in sexual act, ये होगा तब हो सकता है ये. The sexual acts can be real or fabricated depiction of the child or his or her body. The act can involve any part of the body of the child that is demonstrated in or as a sexual act. This is very, very important to understand. It says it can involve any part of the body, not just the private part or the sexual organs. अगर उसका demonstration sexual act के लिए है तो any part of the body, the act has to be recorded or threatened to be recorded through a media, whether it is phone, camera, video recorder, computer or other modes. तब ये section applicable होता है. Section 13, 14, 15 of POCSO Act क्या बोलता है? Description ये बोलता है POCSO Act specifically criminalizes using children in pornography, both online and offline. For the purposes of online, the section outlines that any portrayal of a child for sexual gratification on the internet or any other electronic format would constitute as child pornography. Under this section, the use of a child for pornography can be during preparation, production, offering, transmitting, publishing, facilitation, and distribution. That is why I was telling in the beginning कि कहीं आप इसके facilitation या distribution के part ना हो जाएं. So that is why when you are hired as a lawyer to facilitate a case on behalf of your client who is a child, तो अगर आपके पास as proof कोई CSAM मिलता है तो आप कहीं facilitate और distribute ना करें. आपके पास वो सेफ कस्टडी में होना चाहिए. दैट इज व्हाई आई वाज सेइंग कि ये प्रिपरेशन, प्रोडक्शन, ऑफरिंग, ट्रांसमिटिंग, पब्लिशिंग, फैसिलिटेशन एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन कुछ भी होगा तो इट इज एन ऑफेंस. द सेक्शन मेंशन्ड बिलो ऑफ पॉक्सो एक्ट पेनलाइज अ पर्सन हु, क्यों, किस तरीके, कौन-कौन केस में होगा? यूजेस अ चाइल्ड फॉर पोर्नोग्राफी, एंगेजेस इन सेक्सुअल एक्टिविटी ऑन एनी मीडिया विद अ चाइल्ड, किसी भी तरीके से कोई भी मीडिया पे, अगर फिजिकली नहीं भी है तो भी ऑनलाइन है तब भी ये ऑफेंस है. स्टोर्स एंड डिस्ट्रीब्यूट्स चाइल्ड पोर्नोग्राफी. फॉर एग्जांपल, वेबसाइट ओनर्स इवन इफ दे डिड नॉट पार्टेक इन क्रिएटिंग चाइल्ड पोर्नोग्राफी आर आल्सो कल्पेबल अंडर दिस लॉ. Section 13 बोलता है whoever uses a child in any form of media including program or advertisement telecast by television channel or internet or any other electronic form or printed form, whether or not such program or advertisement is intended for personal use or for distribution, whether or not it is intended for personal use or distribution. For the purpose of sexual gratification shall be guilty of using a child for pornographic purposes. It is a cognizable and non-bailable offense with punishment prescribed in section 14 and 15. Section 14 किस तरह से punishment prescribe करता है? Section 14 specifies the punishment for acts covered by section 13 with imprisonment for a term of up to 5 years and in case of subsequent conviction for a term up to 7 years and fine. Where the accused takes direct part in any pornographic act, the punishments are as follows. Penetrative sexual assault, minimum 10 years, but may extend to imprisonment for life and also liable to fine. Aggravated penetrative assault, rigorous imprisonment for life and also liable to fine. तो ये नेक्स्ट सेशन में आपको बताया जाएगा कि किसको पेनेट्रेटिव सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट बोलते हैं, क्या सिर्फ पेनेट्रेटिव सेक्सुअल असॉल्ट उसी को बोलते हैं जब सेक्सुअल ऑर्गन यूज होता है, या कुछ भी पेन पेंसिल कोई भी और डिवाइस होगा उसको बोला जाएगा. These are dealt later on. This is the first class. Aggravated penetrative assault किसको बोलते हैं? Sexual assault minimum of 6 years but which may extend to 8 years and also liable to fine. Aggravated sexual assault not less than 8 years but which may extend to 10 years and also liable to fine. Section 15 is a cognizable and bailable offense with punishment for storage of child pornography for commercial purposes with up to 3 years of imprisonment or both. एक commercial purpose है, एक sexual gratification है. दोनों ही केस में ये ऑफेंस है और पनिशेबल बाय लॉ है. अलग अलग तरह के उसमें स्टेजेस हैं, अलग अलग उसमें इम्प्रिजनमेंट है और फाइन है. सेक्शन इन लॉ 13 क्या बोलता है? यूज ऑफ चाइल्ड फॉर पोर्नोग्राफिक पर्पसेस. हुएवर यूजेस अ चाइल्ड इन एनी फॉर्म ऑफ मीडिया इंक्लूडिंग प्रोग्राम और एडवर्टाइजमेंट telecast by television channel or internet or any other electronic form or printed form, whether or not such program or advertisement is intended for personal use or for distribution for the purpose of sexual gratification, which includes representation of the sexual organs of a child. सिर्फ फोटोग्राफ नहीं, अगर उसकी पेंटिंग भी है तब भी होगा, अगर वो एनिमेशन है तब भी होगा. यूसेज ऑफ ए चाइल्ड, अगर वो एनोनिमाइज्ड भी है तब भी होगा. अगर एक ऐसा चाइल्ड है, अगर एक ऐसा एनिमेशन है जो किसी एक पर्टिकुलर चाइल्ड से आइडेंटिफाइड नहीं होता है तब भी वो ऑफेंस है. यूसेज ऑफ ए चाइल्ड एंगेज्ड इन रियल और सिमुलेटेड सेक्सुअल एक्ट्स विथ और विदाउट पेनिट्रेशन. विदाउट पेनिट्रेशन होगा तब भी ये सिमुलेटेड सेक्सुअल एक्ट जो है वो ऑफेंस है. The indecent or obscene representation of a child shall be guilty of the offense of using a child for pornographic purpose. Obscene representation है तब भी है. इसका explanation है, for the purposes of this section, the expression use a child shall include involving a child through any medium like print, electronic, computer or any other technology for preparation, production, offering, transmitting, publishing, facilitation and distribution of the pornographic material. Punishment for using child for pornographic purposes. Whoever uses a child or children for pornographic purpose shall be punished with imprisonment of either description, which may extend to 5 years and also be liable to fine, and in the extent of second or subsequent conviction with imprisonment of either description or for a term which may extend to 7 years and also be liable to fine. If the person using the child for pornographic purposes commits an offense referred to in section 3 by direct participating in pornographic act, he shall be punished with imprisonment of either description for a term which shall not be less than 10 years, but which may extend to imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. If the person using the child for pornographic purposes commits an offense referring to in section 5 by directly participating in pornographic act, he shall be punished with rigorous imprisonment for life and shall also be liable to fine. If the person using the child for pornographic purposes commits an offense referred to in section 7 by direct participating in pornographic act, he shall be punished with imprisonment of either description or for a term which shall not be less than 6 years, but which may extend to 8 years and shall also be liable to fine. If the person using the child for pornographic purposes commits an offense referred to in section 9 by directly participating in pornographic act, he shall be punished with imprisonment by either description a term which shall not be less than 8 years, but which may extend to 10 years and shall also be liable to fine. फिर उसी तरीके से स्टोरेज और ट्रांसमिशन का भी है. इसमें केस लॉ आप लोग देख सकते हैं, मन ऑफ वीवी वर्स सन ऑफ वधुषा वर्सेस स्टेट ऑफ केरला, ये आप लोगों को मिल जाएगा, विक्रम जी दे देंगे, तो आप लोगों को मिल जाएगा। दिस इज द ब्रीफ पार्ट ऑफ इट। अगर आप लोगों को कोई और डिस्कशन क्वेश्चन है तो
Sir, I have a question.
जी बोलिए।
Sir, there are many websites which make porn or of teen. So why are no action taken against them? Even they are even paid.
See, it is all it depends. It देखिए यहाँ जो इंडिया में चाहे वर्ल्ड में जो लिखा जाता है कि टीन है या टीनेजर या एडोलेसेंट है, तो उसकी एज को असर्टेन करना सबसे पहली बात होती है कि कंप्लेंट होना चाहिए। कंप्लेंट होने के बाद रिपोर्टिंग होनी चाहिए, फिर वो कौन सी वेबसाइट है उसको ट्रेस होना चाहिए, और उसको किसने कमिट किया है तो दैट इज अ वेरी लॉन्ग प्रोसेस, जिसके कारण से वो परमिएट होता है। और लॉ एनफोर्समेंट एजेंसीज आर नॉट इनफ। दैट इज द मेन प्रॉब्लम वहां पर है। मैंने शुरू में ही बोला कि जो लॉ मतलब हमारे पास जो लॉ है वो सफिशिएंट है अभी इस चीजों को देखने के लिए, बहुत सारी और चीजों को देखने के लिए नहीं है, पर चाइल्ड सेक्सुअल अब्यूज मटेरियल को देखने के लिए अब वो किसी एक बच्ची का या लड़के का ही फोटो है, लड़की का ही फोटो है, और वो 18 से कम है या वो एक वीडियो है, तो उसको असर्टेन करना पड़ेगा, उसको ट्रेस करना पड़ेगा कि वो कहाँ पर है। लॉ एनफोर्समेंट जो एजेंसीज है दे आर डू इट बाय, बट जितना वो हटाते हैं डेली उससे ज्यादा अपलोड होता है, इसलिए वो हमेशा दिखता है। अगर एक जगह से हटा भी दिया गया तो वो दूसरी जगह है, वो उसको फिर से लगा दिया जाता है।
Sir, so can third party can file a case?
Yes, वो इन्फॉर्म तो कर ही सकते हैं, कर सकते हैं, बिल्कुल कर सकते हैं। cybercrime.gov.in पे आप कंप्लेंट फाइल कर सकते हैं किसी और के लिए, अगर आपने वो प्रूफ लगा के किया है तो आप कर सकते हैं। थर्ड पार्टी भी कर सकता है, वो इंफॉर्मेशन के लिए तो कर ही सकता है कि इसको यहाँ से हटाए, बिकॉज इट इज ऑल्सो ऑफेंडिंग यू, राइट। सपोज इट इज ऑन इंस्टाग्राम और इट इज ऑन फेसबुक, और ये अगर मेन स्ट्रीम सोशल मीडिया पे है, इट इज ऑल्सो एन ऑफेंस टू यू, यू आर ऑल्सो बीइंग हरास्ड ना। कि अगर आप स्क्रॉल कर रहे हैं और आपके बगल में कोई और है, कोई एक बच्चा है, तो अनइंटेंशनली भी तो आपने उसको दिखा दिया वो, अगर वो मटेरियल है।
So can I share the name by anonymous?
यस यस यस, रिपोर्टिंग एनोनिमस भी होता है।
Okay, thank you, sir.
I think Vikram ji can now take it because we have very little time left. If Vikram ji can take it forward from here and then.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you so much. And I'm glad to have around 90 students on online. And this technically happens to be our first initiative from the center, Children Law Research Center, which we have started at the institute. So anyone who has any afterthoughts and some later questions, you all can get in touch with us through Professor Surbhi, and we will try to revert in as detail as possible. And I'm just closing this webinar from my end with a sharing that you all might be knowing about the launch of a certificate course on child rights law, which is starting from 3rd of April, and it will be a 30-hour credit course, and there will be 15 sessions on Saturday evening and Sunday morning, and very eminent panel of speakers will be there, who are practitioners, lawyers from the Supreme Court. You have Director Indian Law Institute and other eminent people from National Institute of Disaster Management and Praxis Institute. So you have people from all walks of life and very serious, with serious experience of child rights. So that is still open for registration. So I'll close it here. Surbhi, back to you. Thank you.